first, congrats on the movie. It's a bit, weird, surreal, all at the same time. One thing I did notice, an observation that I made, in one of the dinner scenes, there is a hell of a lot of peas.
Yep.
Very, very strange. I think there should be some sort of Oscar category or some sort. Most vegetables in one scene, or something like that.
I think so too. I think so. I mean, the peas, I quite like it because peas are usually quite like, they're a good gateway food. Kids, when you have kids come over, they will not eat anything. You kind of go fish fingers, and they look at you like, no, that was a gateway food. Like when you were a child, now it's peas. It's like broccoli, carrots, but peas. They're green, and they're sweet, and they're easy, and they don't touch anything apart from peas. I don't know. They're usually quite palatable.
I just want to start by, asking, what were your initial thoughts on the screenplay, and what was it about this character that was so interesting to you?
When I first read A Banquet, I'd already seen a short film of Ruth Paxton's. It was called Be Still My Beating Heart, and I just wanted to work with her so much. This short film, it was like being inside your own dream. It made so much sense in a way that was completely visceral and made sense of like, this is why you use film to tell a story rather than any other medium. And Ruth gets that, but also she has, what I like about A Banquet is it's really ambitious in terms of how it it does acknowledge a lot of pressures of being a woman and a mother and a daughter, and the fact that none of us have a clue what we're really supposed to be doing, but we're given these responsibilities and we don't know what we're supposed to believe in, but we're told it's good to believe in something, and that it's okay to be a bad mother because it's exciting to play a bad mother is a wonderful thing because it's an unforgivable flaw, essentially. And there's nothing redeeming about being a bad parent, but at times we all are.
Your character, goes from one trauma, to another. Is it quite daunting when you're looking at the prospect of trying to take on that character, understand that character?
No, because the traumas are easy. I'm always quite bemused by directors when I work with them, and they're like, "Oh my God, wow!" And I'm like, "That's easy. That's a 10." If you're doing something that's really, really traumatic, it's a 10. You just hit every ceiling and then keep going, and then keep going a bit more, and then keep going, until someone shouts "cut." But it's the more subtle things that are much more interesting and much more important. So the traumatic stuff doesn't, it's quite tiring, but it's cathartic as well. I'm not scared of it.
And of course, you mentioned working with Ruth. How was that? This is our feature debut, and what debut it is.
There are very few directors that I've worked with, maybe certainly from my experience, there are very few directors that really, really genuinely try to make the best film they can at every given second. And that's what puts Ruth ahead of other directors in my book. She looks at every angle of what we could be saying and how we're saying it. And she doesn't it's not like great big long discussions. It's just a shorthand of, oh yeah, I get that. And I saw that. And I want to explore if we can explore this idea as well. Does that work? It's like, well, let's try it, but she's always looking for the most interesting way of telling a story, and she works very fluidly with that sort of amazing intellect and understanding of what story and syntax is. She's also just very instinctive, and she kind of just feels so hands-off. She makes you feel like you're improvising. You're not improvising. She makes the best of what's there, She finds qualities in people, like the way she worked with Jess Alexander. She just was like, this girl is stoic and so beautiful, but she has this wonderful, Betsy's so sure of herself. And Holly, my character, is just kind of really quite flimsy, in comparison. And looking at the different ways those arguments work and using the camera so well.
And also, talking about, Jessica, she's great in this. How much of your own experience, as a parent, helped you, form that dynamic and that relationship that you guys, have got on screen?
I think it can't help but inform, but also I have such love for actors, especially, you can't help but kind of see yourself a bit, and you just want to look after people, and I generally, it's such a privilege to work with young actors because they're there, and you're there to help them and go on the journey with them. And I can't help but bring my own experience of being a parent to it. It probably makes me harder because at times, you think this is an older child than my children. I can probably read her the right act a little bit, in a way that I know that she gets me. I know that she knows I love her. So I'm going to really tell her this, in a way that I might be a little more gentle with my own children. But that's the movie.
And this shoot was only, something like 4 weeks. I read, that kind of time constraint, you'll obviously be used to it, in your profession. But did that, kind of help with the intensity, of kind of each day's, you're not going to get a lot of chances to do some scenes.
That's what I really love about independent film, and about, it's I kind of love exams as well. I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie. I think I like terrifying work. I like scaring my own socks off myself. And it's that thing of, you have to tell this story in a way that really takes a huge amount of headspace and caution and preparation. You got to do it really fast and probably won't get more than one take. So can you do it? And you're kind of like, you want to kind of go, no, I want to do it on a big set where we get lots of goes and there's loads and loads of camera, and they take away all the shit bits and they just keep the best bits. But no, it's great to be given that challenge and just to be like, got to do it, got to get it right,
For the most part, it's, all shot in, in that house, quite an enclosed space. You feel that kind of tension kind of bouncing off the walls. Was it like that, during filming on set for you guys?
No, I think that's just the brilliance of Ruth. She creates such texture, she brings this sort of thickness. You can smell and taste everything. I mean, thickness in terms of texture of being in the room, but we were there, we were just singing and dancing and being stupid and walling around with our masks on, yeah.
And one final question before you go. I understand you've been working on the Meg 2. What can we expect? Can you guarantee a plethora of shark madness? And of course, you're working again with Ben Wheatley.
Oh, Ben Wheatley. I mean, if Ben Wheatley was doing a film about prehistoric bacterial infection, I'd be like, yes, I will work with you. I don't care what it is I'm doing. He's brilliant. He's so brilliant. I'm so excited that he's doing this. The script is incredible. I don't know if I'm allowed to say anything, so I'm going to stop there.
Will there be any point maybe Jason Statham says, it's a megalodon? Is that in at any point, or would that be a spoiler maybe?
I don't know. But Jason Statham, I mean, how brilliant is that? He's a real, he's an Olympic athlete, isn't he? He's a
diver, yeah.
A diver. I think it's great. I like that. I like with Jason that you see Jason, that you feel his warmth, that you feel, there's a sense of a person there rather than a kind of a performance and a facade. He's solid in lots of ways. And I think that's lovely. But I'm really, really excited to see what an enormous brain and passion that, that is Ben Wheatley will bring out of something that we're not, I think it'll be something quite unexpected, but definitely very, very exciting.
Well, Sienna, that's all the time I've got. Thanks so much, and good luck with the movie's release.
Thank you so much for watching it and being a fan. I'm really, really grateful.
No worries. Take care.
Amazing. You too.
Catch you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Hey, you guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey,